Welcome everyone to this wonderful mock interview session. Our first speaker who is going to give you tips on the interview would be Dr. Senthil Kumar Mahalinga. He is a consultant psychiatrist in substance misuse in Derby. Senthil coordinates the Drug and Alcohol Recovery Service at Derby, which is one of the very few NHS-led addiction services in the country. He's a clinical supervisor and a trainer for core trainees and higher trainees in addiction psychiatry. His area of interest is in medical education. Over to you, Senthil, if you can share your brief tips for the candidates today.
Okay. Welcome everyone, and good luck. And those who have not received an offer, you will get an offer. So don't worry about it, because some do get offers in January and February. So there are two types. One, sometimes if you have applied for universities like Cardiff, you'll be expected face-to-face. Some universities do online. So if you're doing a face-to-face, try to go the night before and stay in a quiet hotel. And also during the time of the interview, try to be there at least 30-45 minutes in advance. And especially if your interview is during peak times, extend the time more. So if you're having an interview at 9 o'clock and if you're staying in the city center, it will definitely take at least 45 minutes to 60 minutes. Switch off the mobile or just leave the mobile outside with you, who has been with you. The most important thing we look is compassion and empathy, and that you can reflect through your body language. So maintain eye contact, but you can't stare. Don't slouch or don't sit straight because your back may hurt. Find a comfortable position, and it's okay to carry tissues. And if you have runny nose, you can. That's perfectly fine. Have a small bottle of water, because if you're anxious, your mouth will feel dry. And the most important thing is, do not please chew gums. That's very unprofessional. And if you're doing a role play with the patient, in the patient scenario, maintain eye contact with the patient. Or if you're having two people, maintain eye contact with both the people alternatively. And don't say catchy phrases. And if in doubt, talk to the examiners. Some students say, oh, there are 3 issues, there are 2 issues. That's also perfectly fine. Or you can have a run through. That's also perfectly fine. Sometimes you may finish the the interview earlier. When you're done, you're done. Because sometimes examiners may just chat with you. That's also perfectly fine, because when you said, I'm finished. The important thing is, please avoid lying. That's very, very important. If by unfortunate coincidence you are late for the interview, tell that you got held up in the traffic. Don't give a lie, because it happened to a student in Sheffield, and that's what is called as a red flag. And also remember, the examiners have been doing this again and again over the day, so they'll be very tired. So talk slowly and clearly. If you're doing online, check your bandwidth, because sometimes that can have an interference. And you also need to have the eventuality, just in case the current goes out, so hotspot with your mobile. And we are looking for students. We are not here to fail anybody. So just be yourself. That's the most important thing, and good luck.
Thank you, Senthil. Now I call upon Dr. Ezhil Anand. Raji is a GP partner and trainer in Bradford. Following her graduation at Madras Medical College in India, she did her training in Nottingham and Oxford before moving on to take up her GP work in Bradford. She's involved in Bradford Vocational Training Scheme and takes part in ARCP panels. She's actively involved in teaching and training GP registrar. Over to you, Raji, to give a few tips.
Hello, everybody. Best wishes to you and good luck to all the candidates here. And I know it must be a very nerve-wracking time for all of you, because it's A-levels can be very challenging. But the first and foremost step is preparing yourself, and you're well ahead of your other candidates by being here, being part of training yourself, because practice makes perfection. And you've worked all very hard, toiled right through all these years, and here you are. pretty much what they want is candidates who've got the right attitude and have got good communication skills. They want doctors, future doctors, to be a pair of safe hands with a warm heart. So that is all they are expecting from you guys. So be cool, be calm, be very composed in your interviews, because this is the time to sell yourself. It's all about showing to them when they are calling you for an interview, that clearly shows that they are interested in you as candidates. So that is a huge pat on your back in the first and foremost. And even if you're not got an interview offer yet, it will come through. It's just a matter of time. So keep preparing yourself for it. And it's all about being aware of the issues around it, because it's most important is, especially particularly, they want to kind of focus on hot topic areas, ethical scenarios, which you're very much familiar with. Situational judgment is something you've already gone through. So it's about being aware of the issues around it, and having a kind of well-balanced arguments is what they want. They don't want you to pick up a particular kind of end of scenario and stick to it. What they want is a person who's well-balanced, is able to kind of understand the situation, understand the pros and cons of each, and be able to kind of justify whatever corner that you choose, and justify it to the best of your ability. And they are not here to trip you at all. They do want candidates. They do want bright young minds like you all. So but don't trip yourself. Don't use medical jargon. We see this so often, that candidates throw around words which they are not very familiar with, and it's kind of costing your own troubles. So just be very kind of have a attitude wherein you kind of show that you're interested. Your body language is very, very important, as Dr. Senthil was stating before me. Good eye contact, and smile right through. I know it's difficult. I know you're nervous, but for yourself to stand as a candidate, make sure that you're showing it to them. But clearly, obviously, if it's a role play scenario where you're meant to be kind of breaking bad news, it's not where you're not meant to be smiling. But in most of the other scenarios, show that you are the candidate. Show them I am the right person. And I'm sure you'll all do well. Just be very cool, calm, collected. And one thing I always tell my GP registrars is what they want. If you break it down into 3 areas: ideas, concerns, and expectations. That's what we tell our GP registrars. And that very much holds good for all the MMI interviews as well. To understand what is the idea, what is the scenario all about, and to understand what are the concerns that you need to be talking about, and what is the expectation here? What is the examiner expecting from you? So if you break it down into all these 3 areas, you will all do wonderfully well. Good luck and best wishes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Raji. Now I call upon our next doctor, Dr. Devasmitha Venkataraman. She's a consultant pediatrician at South Tees Hospital NHS Trust. She's also a GMC PLAB examiner, and recently has taken on the role of clinical advisor for integrated children's services in the northeast of England. She's also very much involved in the Royal College work. She's a deputy regional advisor, northeast of England, and a faculty of allergic training course. Over to you, Devasmitha, to give you a quick few tips.
Thank you, Dr. Anand, and thank you to Dr. Senthil Kumar and Dr. Raji Anand for providing a very useful set of tips, as well as setting the scene regarding mock interviews. I would like to congratulate all of you for being here, for trying to attempt to practice this before the real interviews. It really gives you an additional tool to improve your skills and also understand the strategies for mock interviews. I would like to share a few tips which I think would be really helpful moving forward. My first tip would be practice, practice, practice. And I think that's why you are all here. I think practice is really, really important, because it helps to add finesse to your answers. It also helps you add improvement to your body language, your content, your style. As you practice more, all these things naturally improve. And further on, as the interview styles have changed, now we are going more into online interviews. I think it's really important for you people to understand your devices, know how to face the camera. I think the younger generation is pretty good in doing this, but remember to practice this in advance, trying to ensure that you have a good internet connection, trying to get all the strategy right before you go for an interview. Also try to practice filming yourself before, in front of camera, or try to do it in front of mirror. Try to get other family members to help you with these practice skills and get feedback and try to improve yourself. The next tip, which I think is really important, is using personal examples when you are asked about specific aspects in the interviews. The personal example, especially given in the first person, adds life and makes your answer more believable. And remember that every day the examiners interview, say, 50 to 100 candidates. And for them to remember your answer, I think if it's from a personal element, it really makes it believable. It makes them remember things and adds an advantage to your answers. And remember to put your reflections in your answers. That is really important. What did you learn from that example? What was different, and how would you change yourself? Because reflective practice is part of onward, practice of medical practitioners. They like to add reflections, and you will learn about this more in medical schools. But this is really essential. And you also use this as a possibility of subtly selling yourself, trying to use those examples, saying, I have got these skills. These are the skills required by medical schools. So please consider me as a potential candidate. And that's the art of selling yourself. The third advice which I would give you is try and answer the question. And one of the tips you can use to try and answer the question is to include part of the question in your answer such that you don't miss the point. Occasionally, you might come across questions which are, tricky, or you don't know what the answer is. And in those situations, try to remain calm. Try to think about what exactly is this question all about. Is it about ethical principle? Is it a motivation? Is it about insight? And use those principles and try to give an answer. Remember that if it's a tricky question or a tough question for you, it may be a tough question for all the candidates. So remember that if a station doesn't go well, don't worry about it. Don't let it impact you in the future station. Just move on and go to the next station and try to do your best in answering the questions. I'm going to wish you all the best for your mock interviews. I hope you learn more useful strategies, and this is obviously another attempt to help you practice for your actual interviews, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Devasmitha. Next, I call upon our final speaker, Dr. Rupa Jayaraj. Rupa is a consultant anesthetist at Leicester. She did her graduation in India. She also trained both in India and in UK, and is a fellow of the Royal College of Anaesthetists. She teaches undergraduate and postgraduate anesthesia trainee and also midwife in Leicester. She's an educational supervisor for foundation doctors, and she's very passionate about medical education. She likes to help others, and that's why she's here today. Over to you, Rupa.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. I think it's never nice to be the last examiner to give tips, but thank you to all the other three who gave lovely tips. And as the previous examiners have said, thank you to all the students who have come today. And I think this is a very good platform for you to practice. As the other people have said, practice makes perfect. So I'm just going to add on a few more tips. The multiple mini interviews are actually a very, very good way of examining students. And you're only 17, 18. So, the examiners are not monsters. They're not trying to trip you down, but we want to know whether you are suitable for medicine. So practice makes perfect. Do these online courses. Get questions from the internet. There are so many. Practice with your teachers, practice with your parents, and even your dog or your cat. If they can sit and listen to you, that's fine. I think you have to vocalize your answers. You have to talk. And nowadays, the MMIs are face-to-face in some universities and some are virtual. So try to understand what kind of university you're applying to and what kind of interview it is. One other advantage with the MMIs are it's very objective. The marking is very objective. So the examiners cannot actually favor a candidate by the way they look or the way they smile. So it's very objective. So it's actually easy if you have given reasonable answers to actually do well in all the stations. The other advantage of an MMI station is, the circuit is, if you do not do well in one MMI station, please move on. You know, the way the marking is very structured, as I said, and it's actually easy to get marks if you do not give a very, red flag answers. So that is the only main tip I would say is, do not worry about a station where you've not done well, just carry on with the other station. That's a little different when it's a panel interview. So the examiner might have formed an impression, but that doesn't happen in an MMI. As the previous examiner said, personalize your answers. It's from your personal answers are much better than an answer from the internet or from another person. And when you personalize your answers, please be aware that patient confidential information and any sensitive information is not given out. So all the best and do well. Thank you.
Well done, everyone. Can I now ask Abhishek to share his experience as an examiner today?
Hi all. First of all, a massive congratulations for being here today. You're already one step ahead of the game and it shows that you're working hard and it shows great resilience. I think from today, reflecting upon today's experience, I'd just like to tell you all that put yourself in the center of the question. Really relate everything back to your own personal qualities, your personal experiences, and all the extracurricular activities you've done, because they all sounded great. And then why it's important into medicine. What have you learned from the things you've experienced, and why do you think they're important, and how are you going to continue learning? Just demonstrating those type of skills is really important, because the examiner is just looking for your own individual take on what medicine means to you and why do you think you'd be a good aspiring clinician. They're not looking for perfection, but your passion. So well done once again, and I wish you the best of luck in your journeys.
Aditya?
Hi guys, yeah, well done on today's session. There were some really, really good answers throughout. My station, the questions in my station mainly focused on COVID, a few ethical dilemmas. So it's clear that you guys have done a lot of pre-reading and a lot of background research on the pandemic. So I think my main advice would be to just keep reading the news, keep having a look at healthcare sections of the newspaper, because it's something that's so relevant now in terms of the pandemic. There's so many different ways they can ask questions in terms of vaccine hesitancy. What are your thoughts on the impact of mental health? So my main advice would be to just keep reading around the news and just keep having a read around what's going on in today. But yeah, well done, guys.
Devina?
So a big well done to everyone that was in the interview process today. I had some amazing answers and I was very impressed with everybody. The one main thing that I would say for everyone is to have a good structure for your answers, to use any time you're given to prepare, to structure your answers so that the examiner can follow it well, and to be able to elaborate each of your points so that you don't start waffling, and so that you can keep a clear structure for when you are giving your answers to the examiner. And don't be thrown off if it's a weird scenario or something unexpected. Just try to pull out the key skills that they're expecting you to answer, and you'll all do brilliantly. So well done to everyone and good luck.
Dr. Ezhil Anand?
Hello, everybody. I think you all did exceptionally well. I think my questions were all predominantly role play. The reason I choose role play is, even as registrars, I see that they get very flustered with role play scenarios, but role play is a way that where you can clearly establish and show that you've got very good communication skills, and that is a very important quality that they are looking for future doctors. So I think it's very important to be kind of show your active listening skills. And as I earlier said, stick to the format of ideas, concerns, expectations. Make sure what are the issues around it, and pick up on cues. Cues are there for you to kind of get the best marks out of you. So kind of active listening skills, and making sure you're engaged in your body language, the way you kind of have that discussion with that individual, and be aware of the ethical scenarios surrounding that as well. So I'm sure you'll all do well. Best wishes. Good luck.
Paul?
Hello, everyone. Firstly, I think congratulations. You all did amazing today. You really put yourself out there, and it's nice to see that everyone's got some really thoughtful answers. I'd say a very important point is sometimes just take time to think about the question and then answer. It's very easy to, sort of hear sort of one word and then start talking about that, but really think about the question, and it gives you time to formulate a structure, as other people have said, and elaborate on different thoughts, and then you can add a few things here and there. So just try and get your main points out first, because there are always some main points that comes with anything, and then your niche points you can sort of put in the end. And I'd say biggest thing is just keep practicing, guys. In front of your parents, friends, teachers. Just vocalizing it really helps you to get articulate. But I saw that in loads of you today, so I think everyone should be very happy with themselves.
Meghana?
Hi everyone, a massive well done today. I was so impressed by everyone that I had. I could clearly tell that everyone's done their research about all the issues that I was talking about. All I would say is, bring it back to medicine, bring it back to the NHS, bring it back to the doctor. When they're asking you a question, they're interviewing you because they think that you will be a good clinician. So every answer that you mention, try and bring it back to the skills of a doctor, skills of a medical professional. And yeah, just in general, all I would say is please don't stress. I know that interviews can be stressful. They can be quite strenuous. All I'd say is stay calm, stay cool, be yourself, and I'm sure you'll do absolutely fine. So good luck.
Dr. Rupa, Jayaraj?
Yeah, thanks, Ezhil. As the other examiners have said, all of you did really well. I think 17, 18-year-olds, you're able to vocalize really well, and well done to coming to up to this standard. Like Raji, I did role play as well, and you can be put off by that. But try to be polite and calm in that situation, and just take cues from the actor. I think all of us have stressed this enough. We've been in this pandemic for nearly 2.5 years, so there will be one question at least about the pandemic and the vaccine. So do read about it, keep practicing, and you all will do really well. Good luck.
Saujanya?
Hi, everyone. I just want to say congratulations to everyone. You all did very well. I loved how vocal you were about your points. And I think all your points that you made were completely valid. And I just enjoyed listening to your answers. I think we have a really good bunch this year. And I just want to wish you good luck for your interviews and your offers. My tips would be just take a deep breath, because they've given you that time. Just take that deep breath and just think about your answer, and make sure you're answering all of that answer, all of that question, because you may just miss a little point. And yeah, just take the opportunity to really think about the question, and always try and link it to healthcare and medicine, because this is the opportunity to shine and just prove to them why you'd be a good doctor. So for example, if there's a question about leadership, just try and link it back, why a doctor would be a good leader, and yeah, just also another tip would be just to read up on the guidelines and the regulations, because they're changing constantly as well. But yeah, just good luck for your interviews. You all do really well, and yeah, thank you.
Dr. Devasmitha, Venkataraman?
First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for completing the mock interviews. I was really impressed with the quality of answers and the breadth of examples provided in the interviews. I think hopefully, all of you are going to do really well. I wish you all the best for moving forward with your interviews. My couple of suggestions to all of you would be, one is if you are asked to provide a view about a particular situation, then I would suggest that you discuss arguments both for and against before coming to a conclusion. That's really important, rather than actually just providing an answer straight away without giving the reasoning. And that will also help you appreciate the nuances of the difficult situation or scenario, and then help bring further, finesse to your answers. The other thing is, try and structure your answers such that there is a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion, so that ultimately it appears that you are answering the question, rather than finishing it abruptly halfway through saying, I'm done. So remember those tricks and techniques to actually improve the style of your answering. And I'm sure you'll all do extremely well. Best of luck.
Shraddha?
I've got to say that I was really impressed with the personal experiences that I heard, because you all have incredibly interesting lives. And I really like the introductions that I heard as well, because I could see that you guys thought about the question that I asked you before you jumped into answering it. I think a key top tip I would say would be to use keywords from the question in your answer, because that makes sure that the examiner knows that you're specifically answering the question at hand. And yeah, but you guys all did really well, and best of luck for the future.
Nipuni?
Hi guys, you're all really good today. I can tell that you've all done your research, like the GMT domains that I asked about, you all knew about them, so well done for that. And my biggest tip would be to try and link back to your own experiences all the time, even if it doesn't ask you that in the question. Try and bring in your own work experience volunteering if you can. And also just speak with confidence about your own experiences, because you know what you're talking about. So be confident in it, and good luck with everything.
Manav?
Hello. Everyone who I had did very, very well. The knowledge and the breadth of kind of understanding medicine was very strong. My only tip would be, I was in that position a year ago, sitting in that chair and kind of answering the questions, and it can get very daunting, but all the difficult stuff has happened. You've done your UCAT, your BMAT, your A-levels come soon later. But this is the kind of place where you enjoy yourself, and you kind of are able to express why you want to do medicine and sell yourself. So just relax and just enjoy it. But everyone's done very well, and good luck for the future.
Naduni?
Hi everyone. So I thought all of the candidates today were really good. They all answered the questions well, and I was really impressed by the arguments they gave. In terms of an improvement, I'd say to always link it back to what skills you show. So the examiners aren't interested in what a good doctor is, they're interested in how you can make a good doctor. So always link it back to how you've demonstrated those skills, just so they can see what the ideal candidate.
Dr. Senthil Kumar Mahalingam?
Hi. All the candidates who I've examined, you guys have done really, really well, and you have almost more than a better chance of getting the offer. Well done. Like we discussed, just be mindful of the body language, smile a bit, make the eye contact, make some body gestures, which is very important. So talk about the issues, and we are talking about the issues, expand the STEM. Don't just leave it, I will do this, rather than expanding it further, because we have clinical scenarios. And don't use mnemonics, please. And using a personal examples is very, very good technique to do. And most importantly, please talk slowly. And I'm sure the last point, Ezhil will agree with me. After you finish your medical school, choose psychiatry as your career, which is a fantastic field. Thank you.
Shreya?
Well, everyone did really, really amazing today, so well done. One thing which did crop up quite a lot is, in a role-play situation where you are supposed to be a doctor or a medical student, and the person you're working with is a patient, make sure firstly you introduce yourself either as a medical student or as a doctor, and secondly, for the patient, you establish that they are who they're meant to be. So don't just launch into your answer without first introducing and checking who the actor is. But other than that, everyone was amazing today. So best of luck, and just enjoy the process.
And finally, Meera.
Ezhil, there is a message saying that she has to go in the WhatsApp group.
Okay. Can I ask Priya to thank everyone before we finish?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Priya. Most of you know me from the previous mock interview that we did in November. But for those of you that are new and don't know who I am, I'm Priya, as I said. I'm a first year sociology student at Sheffield Hallam Uni. I have to say that it's definitely fulfilling to see these events on the day of and seeing it play out after, days of organising and contacting everyone. But I'd like to thank all the medical doctors and the senior doctors and medical students for taking the time to help and teach our potential medical students. Best of wishes to all of you for your future.
Now, thanks really to everyone who took part, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye-bye.